Okay, so round two. This game is against Miles William Gillett, and the opening was a French. So against the French, I in this tournament I played the King's Indian attack. So that move is d3, d5, knight d2, and this is the setup. And essentially, what White wants is to go g3, bishop g2, knight f3, castles, rook e1. Eventually play e5, and then the knight comes over here, h4, knight goes to h2, and we get this attack on the king's side. So it's pretty ambitious against the French. Um, it's black in some lines can get uh an advantage according to the computer, but in practical terms, it's more difficult to play with black. White's plan is very straightforward, so I tend to like this plan with white. Knight f6, knight f3, c5, book move, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, castles, rook e1, b5. So b5 for me, at this stage in the game, I know a lot of other moves. b5 makes a lot of sense given the plans that I know, but move by move, I hadn't seen this position before here, but the plan is simple. e5, knight d7, knight f1. I will meet queen c7 with bishop f4, like this, like what happens in the game. And I have enough pieces defending. The bishop, yes, is just looking at this pawn, but it prevents black from playing f6 because he'll be able to take with an attack on the queen. So a5, black's plan is to play on the queen's side, where I'm trying to build on the king's side. So h4, and then this move c4. Okay, c4 is a mistake because black in this position is trying to get queenside play. Black wants to open the queenside and even the center in many ways. This pawn probably black doesn't want to move because then the bishop will be looking at the queen, but black definitely wants to be opening up the center here. So c4 allows d4, and once d4 is played, um, I've sort of shut down the center in the in this position, and that gives me a free hand on the king's side, unless black can do something on the queen's side, which he does try to do. So b4. Here I considered playing c3, but c3 I thought maybe a4, and then I have to play a3, and then maybe takes, something like this. Black gets the b file, and I thought, okay, what is the need to play c3? The need to play c3 is only if I'm concerned about c3 from black, which I'm not that concerned by. I can just meet c3 with b3, and so, then a4, it's still fine. Maybe the bishop gets the a6 square in this diagonal, but okay. It's not it's not worth my time to stop that when I can use my hand on the king side with h5. What I want here is to go knight h2, knight g4. If allowed, I'll play h6 and get the control over the dark squares, and then maybe eventually queen d2, bishop g5, and I can sort of snake my way in there. Maybe a sacrifice at some point. But okay, h6, knight h2, now bishop a6. Okay, now that the bishop is on a6, c3 from black makes a little bit more sense. And it also makes more sense for me to play c3 at this point, because now this bishop is doing nothing on a6 if I play c3. So I do finally play c3. The machine gives it an accuracy. I think it's a little bit harsh because it does solidify this pawn chain. There's no clear way to take advantage of it. The bishop now is stupid on a6. b3 can always be met by a3. Takes can just be met by takes, which occurs. And here in this position, I thought for a very long time about the move rook fb8 for black. That was my main move, and well, actually, okay, after bishop a3, queen d2, actually. This is the position. Bishop a3, the purpose is to go bishop b2, which is like a one-move threat. But also the bishop, I guess, is a little bit passive on e7, maybe a little bit more active here. Maybe now it supports a rook coming to b2, right? So this is the position where I consider looking for rook fb8 to try to come in. And I was calculating the move bishop takes h6 because it's like, okay, rook fb8, you've put your rooks over here, your bishops over here, this bishop's way over here, the queen's blocked by the knights, your king is totally alone. So if there was ever a time to sacrifice on h6, it would be after rook fb8. So I'm looking at it for a while. He takes probably 10-15 minutes in this position. And then finally plays rook fb8. So now I'm like, okay, do I do it? Do I go for this thing? Because if I go for it, my position is very good right now. There's no question that position is very good. I have this incredible attack. The queenside play for black is a little bit slow. So I don't have to sacrifice a piece. I can prepare it maybe with knight g4. But my line was like knight g4, rook b2, queen e3. I may as well just do it now if I want to do it. So I do it. And it turns out this is the best continuation, which I was very happy about after the game. My line goes, this is the line I was calculating. Bishop h6, gh6, queen h6. Bishop f8, I thought was only move, not to allow knight g5. And then I looked at a check on g5. King moves to h7. I thought h7 was better than h8 because it supports bishop h6. I played knight g4 there to stop bishop h6. And then I looked at like move queen d8. I saw queen f4. And once I saw queen f4, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty confident. I also calculated takes, queen takes. I calculated like knight f8, queen d8, all these other moves there that were not as resilient as bishop f8. Bishop f8 was my main move. And after I saw queen f4, I was like, okay, I can do this. So bishop f8, most resilient move, I thought, played. Queen g5, king h7, knight g4. So we get to this position. This was the line that I calculated. Here I looked at queen d8 and then I saw queen f4 and I thought, okay, I have pressure on f7. I'm going to play knight g5 now, completely winning. So I didn't actually even see a move here. He found this move knight e7. And this threw me off a little bit because I had not seen it and I understood that he was going to the f5 square. And if he goes to the f5 square, then queen f4 doesn't hit f7 anymore. So if I play queen f4 here, knight f5, I get a check, king g8. And in that position, as it turns out, there's the move bishop takes d5, which I didn't see. But let's just show this move. Queen f4, knight f5, knight g5, king g8. Here, there's the move bishop takes d5. The e6 pawn is overloaded. It's defending the knight and also defending d5 pawn, so I can take that pawn, and then the bishop, once, let's say the rook moves, the bishop can just drop back to e4. I'm going to take the knight on f5, and it's just going to be game over. There's nothing to do. I have way too big of an attack. So this is what I should have done anyway with knight e7. But I didn't see bishop takes d5, which I think is an important move to see. And so instead of playing queen f4 here, I played a move that throws away my advantage, which is h6. And now I actually have to be careful after the move knight g6. Knight g6 with the idea of bishop e7. So knight g6, I was thinking, okay, I'll just play queen h5 to play knight g5, but bishop e7 makes it so if I play knight g5, he can take with the bishop, and I actually don't have an advantage, or a significant advantage there. The advantage is sort of gone. Very lucky for me, he played knight f5 anyway, which my plan here was queen h5, regardless of where he put the knight. Here, queen h5 is actually a very, very strong move. There's no way to defend the f7 pawn without playing like knight b6. And knight b6 is just knight g5, king g8. It's going to be very, very bad. Knight f6 already. So here, I did sacrifice a piece. So he sacrifices the piece back. Knight takes e5. And I take it with the pawn. Well, first I throw in a check. King h8. And I take it with the pawn, which is not the most accurate way of playing. I wanted to support the f6 square with the pawn so that I could play a check, but really it's not important to do this because um, yeah, it's not a check. It's just the square, and it's still very difficult to get to the h8 square. So rook a7 is good. And here I go bishop h3 because my plan is I want to play knight e3. But right now, knight e3, there's queen takes e5. And if I take the knight, then just queen takes. So I want to pair it with bishop h3, which is a very good move. It seems a little bit strange, like not very direct, but it is. Knight e3 is a serious threat now, which is not stopped in the game. Rook b2, knight e3. It might not be stoppable. This might just be. I mean, I'm up. What am I up? 1, 2, 3. I'm up some pawns and you know, a massive attack. It's not. It shouldn't be close this position. So knight e3, and then yeah, just this move is sort of collapsing because now I can take the knight and the bishop is hanging and pinned and everything is bad. Um, But here it's already very difficult to suggest a move. I'm about to take the knight, and then I'm breaking through, positions falling apart. Bishop h6, this is just how the game ends. I take the bishop, now I'm up a piece. And here I thought it was interesting that I only have one way of doing mate, giving mate. It's kind of weird that that's how it is, but it's mate in 2, queen f8. So this game was very fun to play. It was just an attack the whole way through. This is like sort of an ideal version. Like when you play the King's Indian attack, this is what you're hoping for. Um, and it was very nice to be able to sacrifice the bishop without seeing exactly concretely how I'm winning. It just feels okay. I get 2 pawns for the bishop. There's a massive attack. That's the sort of thing that I'm not normally comfortable going for because I generally like uh, to know, okay, I'm sacrificing this piece. How am I either winning it back or winning the game immediately? Um, but I felt like it was very um, mature to calculate, see queen f4, and say, okay, it doesn't seem like there's any move that black can play to survive. Uh, and if I would be terrified of it as black, then I should play it as white. Sometimes it's important to flip the board and you're looking at this position and you're saying, okay, if white takes this pawn on h6, I have to take it. Queen takes, bishop f8. It all my pieces are on the wrong side of the board. You really start to feel scared as you're watching this. And so what I did in this game actually is I went to the other side of the board and looked from his perspective. And it was like, wow, that if my opponent played bishop takes h6 here, I'd be terrified. And so I'm the opponent, so I get to do it. So I did it. And so that was a very, very nice moment for me uh, to be able to do that. And I guess the only other critical moment in this game is when I threw away my advantage with h6. And this is just a blind spot, I guess, or just like not calculating far enough. Queen of 4 is obviously the move that I would like to play. This is what I went for. I sacrificed my bishop with this idea in mind. Queen f4, knight f5. All I need to see is after the most logical move, which is check, king g8, protecting f7. I have bishop takes e4, or bishop takes d5, and then bishop back to e4. And if I see that, then I win this game without throwing away the advantage for a move. Luckily it didn't matter, but this is the sort of thing where if I want to reach master strength, I can't miss uh, this sort of thing. You can't go from a position that's +5 and then suddenly it's equal again and then +5 the next move because those stronger players will take that chance. So yeah, that is the the lesson to be learned from this game. Other than that, stay tuned for round 3, and yeah, thanks for watching.